Welcome to the Diane Ingram Show. Today, our guest is Amy Foster, teacher, mom, wife, business owner, a busy lady indeed. What we've talked about on the previous shows with Amy is cleaning up various places of her house that have been bugging her, organizing first off the corner in the kitchen, and last time we met, she committed to organizing her office space that she uses for her business. When we have these places in our lives that are disorganized and in disarray, it's really hard. It actually is a metaphor for our brain. It's really hard to think clearly. Oftentimes, there's at least one area like that in our house, and sometimes for some of us, it's all over the place because it's hard for us to let go of things, to find the time to clean out. But I'm here to tell you that being organized really makes life run so smoothly. For instance, your closet, when it's organized and you have the things out of there that no longer fit you, that you don't really like, if you haven't worn it for a year, get rid of it. Then when you go to your closet, there's actually space to kind of go through the clothing and pick out your favorite things because that's all that's left in there. In Amy's case, she was talking about her corner in her kitchen. And every day she saw that corner quite frequently and it just bothered her. She said it was kind of a surfacey shame feeling she felt. I think a lot of us probably feel shame at some of the more public clutter in our house. We may not even be conscious of it, but it's just a place in our house where we just feel it's not right. It's not clear, it's not clean. And feng shui, which is an ancient Chinese practice of placement and energy flow, would say it's got your energy clogged there. So Amy has taken on this corner of her kitchen and been successful by just taking a little bit of time each day with a start and a finish time. And gradually it got to a place where she's really pleased with the way it looks. So instead of feeling shame, she's actually walking by there and feeling pretty good about herself. And by experiencing her success in that one area, she's able to now transfer it to another area of our house, which is kind of bothering her and feels like it gets in the way of her business running smoothly. So stay tuned. We're going to talk to Amy in just a minute and see how she did. Welcome back. Today we're with Amy Foster, wife, mother, businesswoman, teacher, librarian. You got a full plate, girl. So last time you were here, you committed to cleaning up your office, was it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, my office space with an extra closet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how did that go?
Well, until pretty recently, it didn't go very well at all. It didn't go.
And what got in the way of that happening?
Just stuff, time, not giving it the time. And it's kind of funny that, we used scheduling myself for the last challenge that I brought to you as kind of an example. And I successfully hurdled that challenge and gave myself the allotted number of hours I needed to complete the task and did it.
And that was your corner in your kitchen?
Yeah.
And I think you gave an hour each day, was it?
An hour. It wasn't specifically every day, but until it got the task accomplished, and I put on music and made it more of a pleasurable time. And it was a very successful event, series of events.
You have a clean corner in your kitchen.
Yeah, and people who had noticed, I had brought it to their attention. People don't walk in and say, "Oh my goodness," but they had seen it and saw the results and were impressed. Does it stay that way every day? No, the mail comes in, and sometimes we have things, pile up there a little bit, but it hasn't gotten to the nature that it was.
So let's just talk about that for a second. So you're able to maintain it, and what allows you to maintain it? What are you doing differently that keeps it from going back the way it was?
I think just bringing it to the surface. I mean, it is on the surface. It was in the surface of my eyes and anyone else's who was in the kitchen, but bringing it to my attention, I guess, more. Seeing it every day and saying, oh yeah, that's right, I spent all that time committed to making it, you know, better. Why don't I just, it's much better, easier to keep it on an ongoing basis too. So it might take, you know, 5 or 10 minutes now to just sort the mail, and I have the recycle right next to it, so I just go through and get rid of it, and it's easier to maintain on an ongoing basis.
So it seems like you set up certain systems that work there for you and put everything kind of where it needs to be. And also you spend a little bit of time each day maybe going through the mail and sorting it out instead of allowing it to pile up.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
yes,
great.
Definitely.
So then we moved on to your office.
We did in theory.
Okay. And what happened?
Well, a lot of, gosh, you know, I'm not sure. It was just, I didn't make it important again until, I feel like, you know, one of the kids in school, until the assignments due, I didn't, you know, start it. So this week I've started and really got, you know, a really good head on it. The picture that I sent to you was the before. Right now it looks like a tidal wave went through it, because it's, you know, everything's out, which in my way kind of has to happen before I, you know, get rid of things and put it back. So it's definitely in the midst of the process. I just didn't commit to it with enough time on a daily basis again.
Okay.
And that's, you know, it's a reminder to myself, oh yeah, that worked. You know, it's just that I have to do that again.
Okay, so we're going to put up a picture, a before picture of the office now, and then we'll be soon seeing an after picture.
Yes, very soon.
So I think the last time we were together, you talked about how you wanted to clean up your office, organize it more, because you thought it would support your business. And anything else that was about that you thought would be helpful?
Well, just my organization in general, and my ability to support other people. My business, you know, relies on helping other people to do that, and I feel that if I'm not as organized as I could be, I don't know that I could help other people become organized in their businesses, and I think that's probably the case. You know, that I am working on that in preparation for helping other people do that too.
Okay, so some of the things you're going to experience when you are successful with this is you're going to experience being able to help more people in your business. You're going to feel more organized. Give me some other qualities that you personally are going to experience when you walk into your office. And use your imagination on this one. I see you're going to have to. But no, when you walk into your office and you see it organized, I mean, what do you want it to look like?
Professional.
Okay.
You know.
And what does that mean?
Well, you know, as you see or have seen on the before pictures, I have a bulletin board there, kind of helter-skelter, all kinds of things just, you know, nailed up there. I have a dream board, which we use for visualization and that kind of thing. And it's kind of dusty. You know, it's just been sitting there for a while.
That's a good metaphor.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hasn't really been attended to. And so that whole area will be, you know, wow, look at that person has it all together and is going the places that she wants to go.
And how does that make you feel when you're that person who has it all together and is going the places you want to go?
Accomplished.
Accomplished. Anything else?
Proud, I guess.
Proud and accomplished.
Yeah.
What else?
Just that I have control.
Okay. So kind of in control, proud and accomplished.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you, in your imagination right now, you can allow yourself, so it kind of starts in your imagination, but bring it down into your body and start to feel that, what that feels like. I'm sure you've experienced that many times in your life. So imagine what it's going to feel like when every time you walk into your office, you're going to feel proud, accomplished, and in control.
Be a nice feeling.
Yeah. So those are the things that are going to help. In fact, I want to make note of that. So proud, excuse me, accomplished, and in control. Those are the pieces that you want to remind yourself about that's going to keep you motivated to move forward. And you can even spend a little bit of time in that room closing your eyes and visualizing it organized, and allow yourself to feel, proud and accomplished and in control. And that will reinforce and inspire you to go over and start doing things. So that's one of the tools you can use. So you had a hard time bringing that piece of doing a little bit each day into this new project. And you think life just kind of got in your way.
Yeah, I did, and I didn't give it the importance that it needed to take that time.
And what was different about this week?
This particular week, well, we happened to be on break from school.
Okay.
So time is definitely, yes, time is definitely much more available, you know, than being in school and then working and then doing other things. So
some of it's just a practical reality. You've got a lot of things going, and so finding the time to do that is probably difficult.
Yeah.
So now you have more time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it had something to do with the fact you were going to come and be on the show.
Absolutely did.
Yeah, so accountability, and it doesn't have to be to me or the show. It can be to a friend, it can be to yourself, which is a little more difficult. It's easier to be accountable to someone outside of yourself, at least initially.
Right. I found out.
Yeah. But also you can be accountable to yourself to remind yourself of the qualities that are going to come in when that happens, and accountable to that self that's going to feel proud and accomplished. So what was different this week? How did you handle it this week?
This week, I got up and instead of, you know, getting waylaid into the day, as tends to happen, you know, I think it is kind of human nature when I have the whole day in front of me, I do less. Kind of sometimes. So instead of just letting the day get away from me, I scheduled the time in and said, okay, you know, I'm going to do 2 hours on the first day because it would take that, and then maybe an hour on the second day and another hour on the third day, and I have that luxury of that time this week. So it's available. So it just takes getting into it, you know, sinking my teeth into it, and it's already, you know, well, temporarily worse, but it's already better. Gotten rid of the tax boxes that I've had for, you know, 5 years worth.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So right now you've got everything pulled out, so it looks worse for a minute. But are you putting on music and at least dancing around and feeling good while you're doing it?
Yep.
Okay. So right now you're in the phase of pulling everything out and looking at what's there. Is that it? And deciding. And then what happens next?
I'm purging a lot of things.
Okay.
There's a lot of things I just, you know, I tend to save. Oh, I might need this, and some, you know, stretch of the imagination. Oh, I might need that someday, and have found in, you know, the years that I've been in the business, haven't needed it. So guess what? I'm going to just do without it and go from this point forward. I think that's a good example of what to do with the business as well.
And also oftentimes those good ideas, I know a lot of people save magazine articles. My mother used to clip out articles in newspaper, you know, and occasionally, but sometimes like the magazines would stack up because she didn't have time to clip out the articles, and it becomes this vicious cycle. And in fact, if it's a good idea, it usually comes back around again.
Yeah.
And the same with probably your business. I know that your company does a lot of supportive stuff.
Yes.
And I suspect that stuff those ideas come back around again.
Yes,
yeah,
they do. And all the trainings and things that I've been to and the conferences, and they all come with paperwork, and so I've saved it all, you know. And the electronic age also, you know, in the last few years, I can, you know, probably have a copy of something saved in a file somewhere online or on a computer, and I can do without a lot of the paper.
Right. I remember someone saying, we have this big box of instruction books that come with new products.
Yeah.
And someone once said, you can get rid of all of that because it's all online now.
Online.
And so that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're in the purging phase, and then what comes next?
Putting it back, putting a lot less of it back together. I'll put the tax information, you know, with my other home tax information up in the attic, and can organize that area, but don't worry, we're not going to get pictures of that too.
But put it up where you don't need it, because you don't need it. You just need to hold on to it in case you need it.
And it's taking up space that I could use to put things that are on that desk that you saw the picture of into that space.
Yeah, so that's a very good piece of it too, is deciding what is it I really need to have access to, and if I don't have to have access to it, then storing it away in some unseen place.
Every day,
yeah, okay. And what else do you think you need to do to complete this project?
I think that's really going to take care of it. You
Yeah.
know, just getting, it's kind of, you know, metaphorical, clean the slate, clean the surface off, and file the necessary things and get rid of the baggage, the unnecessary things.
So do you have an idea of how long this might take you to finish this?
I would say really a few more hours is all.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So
3 or
you're
4
close
more
to
hours.
the finish
Yeah.
line.
Yeah. And I have another, you know, week and a half of break time, so I will, you know, say that I'll put an hour a day until it's done, and even if I don't do that every single day for the next 10 days, that gives me enough time. And it also gives me a due date.
Right.
Yep.
Because you know that soon you'll be going back to work and
Right. Yeah.
so you're really close to experiencing that sense of accomplishment, being proud and in control of your business. And also I think last time you spoke about how people coming in that work with you, or that you're a supervisor, what's the word?
Well, I sponsor.
Sponsor,
you know, people,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll see this.
Yeah.
And that will inspire them to kind of set up their business maybe accordingly to do that. And also they'll think of you as being really accomplished.
And in control.
Yeah, and in control. So that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
So good for you for getting motivated. It took you a while, but you knew you had more time now.
Right.
So that was one piece.
Right.
Yeah. So anything else that you'd like to commit to between now and the next time we meet? Because it sounds like this project's almost done.
I know it is. And then what? No.
So what's next for you? What do you think is the next piece that will help you move closer to the life you want to be living?
I think if I take this tangible feeling in control over a task, or 2 rather large tasks that I will have completed, and just applying that to my life in general, being in control instead of serendipitous, you know, kind of just going the way the wind takes me. I think I would like to put that adjective to my own life in general.
And it's important to have time, though, where we can kind of go with the flow. But what does it look like for you when you say you want to put that feeling of in control in the rest of your life? What is that? Do you have any specifics about that?
I think just scheduling that time in. You know, again, when I am not on break, when I have school and work and kids, of course, and, you know, travel, to schedule in, you know, this day and this day work for business. This is going to be my, you know, say 2 hours on this day, 2 hours on that day. That's the luxury of it. I can kind of schedule myself. And then the other time is for other things, you know, leaving.
So you want to schedule business time?
Well, yeah, daytime work, you know, the teaching and librarian work that I have, and then business time. I already do that to a point, but just to increase that feeling of control.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And one of the things that you talked about when you were doing your corner is it was important to have an end time. So I'm wondering if it's also going to be helpful when you're scheduling your business time to make sure you have an end time. Because as we talked about with other people, being an entrepreneur can just take over your whole life.
Yeah.
And with you having these other things too,
Right.
I'm wondering if, you know, do you need to schedule in Amy time?
Yeah. Yeah. I do that kind of on a not perfectly regular, but I do take my walks, and I do enjoy things like yoga class, and I do try to, getting that into a more regular schedule.
Yeah.
Now that the spring is here, you know, I think we all enjoy doing that, getting outdoors and things like that.
It's been so beautiful,
yeah.
And also, as women, there are so many demands on us, especially if we choose to be business women too, and especially you as a teacher and a mother and a wife. Lots of things, as we've talked before, demands on your time. So it's critical that you make sure that there's time for you in there, as well as putting beginnings and ends to the other parts of your life.
Yeah.
It's a juggle. It really is. It's like a little puzzle. I always feel like my life is this. I'm putting these pieces together, but you do feel in control when all the pieces are there and they're all kind of fitting nicely.
Right.
I mean, things happen, but you know, but just to be on top of that makes you feel much more accomplished, proud, and in control.
I think just having the end times too, like we talked about.
Yeah, that was really an interesting thing that you said. That because the tendency is, I have a little more time, I can keep going, but you're taking time away from something else that maybe you want to be doing.
Right.
That's just as pleasurable or more pleasurable. So, well, I look forward to seeing how this goes with you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Diane. Thanks very
we'll
much.
check back in a month or so.
Okay. Terrific.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye. Stay tuned for the rest of the show.
Joy, it lives inside of us, sparkling bright, precious jewel, facets of every shape, reflecting light. Joy, untouched by circumstance, go with the flow, accepting self, contentment in our core when we come home. Joy, grateful to be alive, essence of who we are. Joy, grateful to be alive, glistening in our hearts. Joy, it lives inside of us, sparkling bright, precious jewel, facets of every shape, reflecting light. Joy, maker of pure delight, essence of who we are. Joy, grateful to be alive, glistening in our hearts. Joy, it lives inside of us.
Welcome back. Today we talked with Amy Foster, and what she has discovered is that by setting the time aside each day with the rest of the things going on in her life, it didn't work as well as it did when she was in the other part of her house. So cleaning her office, that didn't work as well. But what did work was that she knew she was going to be coming here and I was going to be asking her about it. So she's on break right now from one of her jobs as a teacher on her spring break. So she used the time the last couple days so that she could come in here. She used the time organizing and cleaning up so that she could come in here and tell me that she'd been successful. That's okay. That's great. Once again, accountability in our lives is really important to kind of help us stick to what we originally committed to doing. When we're just held accountable to ourselves, we can oftentimes talk ourselves out of it. But being accountable to other people in our lives, be it a coach, be it a friend, be it a husband, although that can get a little sticky, but being held accountable, or even you can commit to it in your journal or in your organizer book. You know, by this time next week, I'm going to have this done. You can even say to a friend, just give me a call and see if I did it or not. So that's what Amy's doing. She came in here and she was able to say that she completed it. Now she's able to take on her next task, which is she wants to schedule time each day for her business. Because what she learned from cleaning her kitchen was by having a starting time and an ending time, she could accomplish enough in that time to feel like she was moving forward and still have time for the other things in her life. So now she's committing to scheduling business time each day, beginning and ending. I know, as being a business owner, and I'm sure Amy's well aware, is that when you have your own business, it can take over your whole life. And before you know it, you're not spending time with your family, very quality time. You're not seeing friends. I mean, it can really morph over your whole life. It might even get in the way of you working out, you even eating well. Maybe you're grabbing things to eat because you're just so busy. So by having a beginning and ending time, especially for someone like Amy who has children, she's got another job, she's got a husband that she wants to spend time with. So having a beginning and ending time is really critical for her to kind of put some container around her business. And she will then probably be more efficient in getting those things done in that time, knowing that she's got a finite amount of time. So I would like you to look at your life and see where it would be helpful for you to put some boundaries around a particular part of your life. Where would it be helpful for you to have some accountability? Maybe, as I said, enroll a friend in seeing if you follow through, not in a nagging way, but just in a check-in kind of way. And you can even explain to them, look, I don't want you hassling me about this. Just give me a call and say, how are you doing? It can be a great way to accomplish the things in your life that you set out for yourself. So email me. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in today. And remember, we're all here for a purpose. We all should be experiencing meaning in our life. And if you're not, spend time with yourself to find out what is meaningful for you. And you can let me know. I'll read it on the air or not. But it's a good question to ask yourself. Because life is short. And so it's time to start living it to its utmost now. Thanks for tuning in today.